All right, we're on the road, little testing, a lot going on with the Texans, and there's a lot to perhaps be concerned about and perhaps not be concerned about. It is the locker room. Let me know if you can hear me. Trying out a new little sound system on the road. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Give me a little thumbs up and let me know if you can actually hear me or not. Can you hear me? I'm on the road. I'm doing my thing. Uh, we're gonna start off with a little bit of DeMeco Ryans. This was DeMeco Ryans after practice. I thought this was really interesting. Appreciate y'all. Uh, I can't hear as well out of the headphones, but let's go to Coach DeMeco Ryans after practice, and let's hear what DeMeco had to say after the Texans had a and this was a very eventful practice. Got the baby in the background. We're very much on the road. Here was DeMeco Ryans talking about everything that went on with your Houston Texans on Sunday, and it was a lot.
Create a turnover. It's just what you want to see. All three units play really well throughout the game.
He made a play today. He made some plays in the preseason game as well. What have you seen from him and as far as his development?
Case has probably been one of our most consistent players on the team since he's been here. You know, sometimes I was telling guys I forget that he's a rookie, right? Because he's been so consistent. He's exactly the guy we thought we were getting, right? Tough, gritty, hard-nosed, and dependable, right? He's been very dependable. He's shown a lot, really, with the routes and being able to catch the football, move downfield, break tackles. Like it's exciting to see a young player come in and be as consistent as he's been day in and day out.
Defense has been throughout camp and obviously the first preseason game, that second one with the starters, pretty physical. How much do you think they've been taking on your identity of what you want of a defense?
When we play defense, right, we want people to put on our tape and see that we're bringing it. We're going to be a physical unit. We're physical in practice. We're physical in the game. We don't change up our identity. Whenever we step on the field, we're going to be a physical unit. That's what you have to be if you expect to play defense here in Houston.
Can you talk about the synergy last week on the road? What kind of synergy you thought that was created with the team by being on the road, but strictly that y'all had to be a team away and then just being together?
Yeah, being on the road, it definitely created some synergy amongst our group. It's really about guys just building deeper connections. We're hanging around the hotel and just guys are, playing games together, communicating, talking in the meal room. So that's what it's about. When you go away during camp, it's just about team camaraderie. And I think we built deeper relationships on our team, and we became a tighter team after being in Cleveland for a week.
What do you think the biggest obstacle was for the running attack on Friday?
With the running game, I think, first off, we have to just stay attached on our blocks, especially on the front side.
Man, I don't know about y'all. I appreciate all y'all for joining me on the road. Y'all are asking. Yeah, I'm on the road. I'm up 45. It's a 1 week thing. Number one station in the country. Been going for 30 years. Visiting the in-laws and the family and stuff like that. And it was very nice of their boss to allow me to do that. Kind of invading, kind of repping H-Town around here, but it's a lot of fun. But I'm very excited to cover this squad, and this is just kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's basically vindication of getting away from the radio BS and getting to just go hang out and do a few shows for a week and just chill. But you don't have to worry about me. Like I want to be back in Houston right now. That's just kind of how I'm rolling. But you guys already know I'm doing the road work. We got the hotel, we got the baby and stuff. So we're just chilling. But I am worried about this run game very much.
And we have to finish better on the front side to get the runs going. I think a lot of our runs got stalled because we had guys penetrating in the backfield or guys shooting gaps, and we have to respond better to movement to get our run game going.
I know you touched on Tank, after the game, but obviously he had one catch that went for a touchdown. Just how much of what that explosion is what you kind of want to expect when Tank gets the ball in his hand, just in general what he brings as far as explosiveness?
Tank is one of our most explosive players. It's always exciting to see him when he gets the ball in his hands. he's shown that, man, from U of H. Right? He's been an explosive player. He comes here his rookie year. He was dynamic and explosive for us. Again, I tell Takeoff, that's who you are, right? I expect you to be explosive. Every time you touch the ball, like everybody needs to be standing up in the crowd, like what's about to happen when Tank has the ball in his hand, as you saw with him on the punt return, right? Or it's receiving. Anytime he touches the ball, right, you got action. So, I mean, I'm always excited to watch Tank. He's one of my favorite guys to watch because he's such an exciting player.
There was a drive in the preseason game where Cam Akers touched the ball 6 times in a scoring drive for you guys. It started with the kickoff, couple catches, couple runs. Has his time here just been kind of like getting acclimated, proving that he's got a little bit more athleticism than he did immediately after the injury? Where have you kind of seen from him?
Yeah, from Cam, I've seen a guy, first off, we know he's done it. I've gone against Cam a lot, and I've seen the plays that he's been able to make. So is he surprising me? No, he's not surprising me, but he seems like he's getting back into shape, getting back into football shape, and he's making plays that he's made prior in his career. It's exciting to see him. And just shows when guys maximize their opportunity. And I think he's a guy who's taking advantage of that, coming into camp late, but he's picked up on things very quickly. He's very sharp mentally, and that's allowed him to step in, I think, and really showcase his talents of what he's been able to do. And the biggest thing is him, right, making guys miss. I think it's, when you're playing a running back position, you can make defenders miss. Like Cam just has a savvy way of doing that, and that allows him to continue to press forward and gain yards for us.
Speaking of maximizing opportunities, what have you seen from Kalen Bullock as far as what he's been able to put on the field, not only in practice but in the games as well?
Kalen is another guy, when you're rookie, similar to Kay, similar to Kamari. Like these guys have come in and they've been laser focused. Like Kalen, when we watch his tape at USC, he's a guy who attacked the football. Ball was in the air, he was going to get it. Same what you see out here every day in practice. Like he's making a play on the football. He made a play today, getting the ball out there on one of the receivers, and he made a play in the game this past Friday for him. It didn't count, but I think everybody can appreciate, right, the play when your free safety is able to have the elite range that he has and is able to make a play there on the sideline. It's impressive to watch for Kalen, and he'll continue to get better. And that's the exciting thing about Kalen. Like, man, he's still a young player, still has a lot of room to grow. But what he's shown us already and the consistency at which he's done it, like I'm very excited to see the young man continue to flourish in our defense. All right, thank you, guys.
There you go, DeMeco. Kind of felt like the media wanted a little bit more, but that's what they got from DeMeco the other day. So we'll hear from Derek Stingley in a second, but I just want to say a couple of things about practice the other day that I think are a little bit interesting. Shout out to H-Town's Ultimate. Shout out to all y'all for coming through on the live on the road. It's been fun. Still got the videos already like scheduled to drop. We dropped the one. We got one tomorrow that I think is like one of my favorites because it's just me being annoyed about some CJ Stroud type of stuff. But let's just go through these injuries before we get here. And be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Sipping some Mickey Ultras from the hotel lobby down there. Got the daughter going crazy. I think she just ate a whole orange. She drunk off of her bottle. She just got a little bottle going. But the good news on Sunday was that we got a Laramie Tunsil, we got a Joe Mixon, and we got a Brevin Jordan. They all returned. I'll mention Christian Harris in a sec. I know he returned, and then he kind of didn't. But Tunsil and Mixon have been intensifying for a while. Brevin Jordan was kind of like one of those like cautionary things where I don't know if that's like a real injury in season, but we're going to get a full go Mixon. We're going to get a full go Tunsil once the season comes around. And they were kind of trending in that direction. So that was all good news right there with those guys. Christian Harris, I don't know if it's time to like freak out, but I think it's time to at least acknowledge based on the fact that Injury concerns have been a thing for him. Last year, DeMeco Ryans basically said, or not basically, it's a quote, that year 2 was his rookie year. And we then saw Christian Harris play, and he did his thing, and he found his way and all that. And now he's kind of nicked up. It seems like they're playing it slow, then they're playing it fast, and then all of a sudden he's on the field. And I'll be honest, like just based on the actual process, and if y'all follow this video, then I think y'all or this channel, I think y'all agree. Like I didn't think Christian Harris was close because I didn't see any revamp process. I didn't see anything on the side. Like you would see it one day and then you wouldn't see it the next. So I didn't think there was like a hurry. I thought that Mixon and Tunsil, I don't know if there was a hurry, but the process was where it should be. And then all of a sudden, I look up and I see that after my fantasy draft, I see that, oh my gosh, Christian Harris is on the field. And I'm like, damn, that was quick. And then I see Cody Stutes saying, well, he just got, escorted off the field. So I am concerned about Christian Harris. I am concerned about linebacker depth. We got about 3+ weeks till the season starts. I don't know if I feel great about Christian Harris heading into that. And who knows what the setback is. I know that they're really private about injuries, but I'm not going to say I'm anticipating the worst, but I'm very, very lowly optimistic. And quite frankly, I was more optimistic before he went on the field this week because I thought that the process was based on like what you see with players. And typically, here's how it goes. So whenever you're at a training camp and guys are hurt, some guys are sitting on the side, some guys are working on the side field with trainers. And once they're working on the field with trainers, you look at how intense stuff is going, and the more that it intensifies, the closer you think they are. And that's been the case with Mixon and Tunsil for a while. With Christian Harris, never really saw like intense training, and then all of a sudden you saw him on the field, and then you saw him leaving. So I don't really know what to make of that. We had Will Anderson working on the side, which is fine. I think Will Anderson's going to be fine. I think they're just being cautious with that. I think that's as much of a preseason injury as anything. And we saw Will Anderson last year. He's willing to play hurt, and he played hurt, and he actually played pretty well hurt. He had the 2 sacks against the Titans. Lassiter's still out with the ankle. I saw someone in the comments ask about that. I don't know what's wrong with Lassiter. I do know that he's CB2. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to be extra cautious with him as well. And then we had a light day for Shaq Mason. I don't know if there's anything to make of that, but I'm kind of worried about Shaq Mason. He's kind of getting to the point where Father Time's going to catch up to you, especially when you're that heavy and you've been doing it that long. So the right side of this offensive line, I've said it a number of times. I know that the way that it's talked about in the media, it's and with the teammates, it's Shaq Mason is underrated and Titus Howard is a good right tackle. And I don't feel comfortable enough in saying that. I'm a little bit more concerned about the right side of the offensive line than a lot of media types and a lot of people are. One thing I'm not concerned about, though, at least if he's on the field, and we're talking about injuries, and that hasn't even been a factor. Let's hear
To the, just in terms of seeing how the offense is trying to attack and then reacting.
You asking about the ball in the air, or you asking about? I mean that's probably just from a little kid, like with my pops, just working with him. So, I mean, now that the game has slowed down, I know when I can look for it earlier.
Dude, I love this country mother trucker, dude. I love this dude, man. Look at Stingley, man. What a beast he is.
I guess make a play.
What type of camaraderie were you able to build with some of your other teammates when y'all were away from Houston?
Classy, dude.
I mean, we did a lot. We went eat, played the game, had a little tournament, and just chill, really, other than practice. So, I mean, that was good. Yeah, I had a little bit.
Who won the tournament?
Not my team. We lost. We had to pay for the dinner.
You guys?
Yeah. Huh?
Who's the most extravagant guy to order like with expensive stuff?
Probably all the big dudes. They ordered about 4 different plates for they sell. So, yeah, but we expected that.
How good is it just to be back home?
Lay in my bed, chill.
Being conference looking for you right now, day in and day out, for you conference-wise.
I mean, it's pretty much.
Stingley literally just plays ball, video games, and then ball. Like that is what is so amazing about Stingley. Like all this, like it is ball, his dad, video games, ball. Love this dude.
Same since I was little. It ain't really changed too much.
Has being more physical been a priority for you this year?
You said physical?
Yeah, more physical, run support, and coverage.
I feel like my mindset really ain't changed. Like if it looked different, I don't know why, but DeMeco put me in a good spot to play game.
All set? All right.
All right, there we go. That's Derek Stingley. So we'll get the next guy in a sec who spoke the other day at practice. But I'll just say this, man. Like with Derek Stingley, if Derek Stingley doesn't end up being that dude, it's not because he doesn't love ball. It's not because he's like not trying. It's not because he doesn't have the best effort. So Derek Stingley's pops is with him all the time, and Derek Stingley's obviously, like if you look at his football story, he comes from like an interesting thing. But that dude is like a that dude is just one of my favorite dudes to listen to. Shout out to Jorge, $10 super chat. Get another ultra on me. Don't forget that like button. What's up, man? Not only do you buy me a brew, you remind the folks what to do. He also asked this. Did you hear about Metchie potential trade rumors with Philly to revisit trade talks? Saw it online. Not sure how true it is, or have you heard anything? I don't know anything, and I don't know who would trade for Metchie. And I know that naturally people talk about when they bring up Metchie, they talk about Hurts and they talk about Bryce Young. I don't know what the trade value is for John Metchie. I don't think that he's one of the top 7 receivers on this team right now. So I don't know what the trade value would or would not be. Go to dinner with Stutz. I would imagine that's similar. You're talking about the plates. Now, when Stutz goes to dinner, so I've been to dinner with Stutz. I can't even tell how many times if you're going to like a restaurant that he actually likes, he gets like incredibly excited, and he has like an idea. But I think he's kind of cutting his ish down a little bit. Mario Edwards, he's been a really good defensive lineman for the squad lately. You feel good about him with Autry out? Didn't anticipate that. Let's hear him. He's a man of few words. I'll tell you that. He makes me feel old as balls because of his pops. But let's hear what Mario Edwards had to say after Sunday's practice.
I feel like I played pretty physical. Went out there and played pretty hard.
What's up, class?
As far as getting off blocks over the years, what do you think has been the most effective ways for you to shed a block and make a play?
When you're just being aggressive, man, it kind of makes it kind of easy to do. When you're being aggressive, it's easy to kind of get off the block versus just reading.
You ever hand him that towel? Look at him that towel.
Yeah, very much, man. It's an attack style defense. It lets me really pin my ears back and go. Play fast, physical to the echo of the whistle, kind of like what I'm used to doing.
We talked to DeMeco a lot about this style of defense and how previously he was in the read and react, and he just loves to just go. You feel the same way about this? This is almost the way it's supposed to be played?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where you get the call, you get your alignment assignment, and it's man against man. It's literally you beating your man, winning your one-on-ones, and getting to the ball. So you can never really ask for nothing better than that.
Mario, speaking of Daniil, how do you get the nickname Cyborg? And what do you think about what he has?
Man, he's just like the Cyborg, man. He's another machine, man. We got the Terminator with Will on one side, and we got another machine, Cyborg with Daniil on the side, man. He's a heck of a player, man, just with his speed, his strength, and his knowledge of the game as well, and just being able to play next to him and learn how to play off of him and things like that has been great.
You got some really good linebackers and defensive backs behind you, but How good does it feel knowing that you're able to do what you're able to do, knowing that you have the season behind you?
Oh man, it's great, man. You basically got.
Doesn't they have good linebackers behind him? Are we sure about that? I know that the question was presented as you got some pretty good linebackers behind you. I couldn't hear it because my audio of questions is a little bit skewed, but we sure about that? But he's not going to say that he doesn't.
Basically got a quarterback back there, of the defense, and Azeez gonna get us lined up, and where we're not, he's gonna be, and where he's not, we play off of him. So it's good to just have, but we're interchanging in there, we're overlapping and playing each other fast and physical.
All good. Thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
There you go. The great Mario Edwards, not to be confused with Mario Williams. And then we have one more person who we're gonna get Tank, right? Oh hell yeah, we're getting Tank. Hell yeah, we'll get some Tank in a second. My God, I love that. Love me some Tank. So I gotta confess this. And this happened this weekend. I'll pull this up. I'll pull it up. Y'all can make fun of me. I don't mind it. I like getting made fun of. I like getting roasted like corn. So we had our fantasy draft this weekend. Stutz was involved. I drafted my squad. I drafted CJ early. And the only reason I did this is in our league, it's 6 point touchdowns. So a quarterback can carry you. And with all things equal, would I take CJ in the third round? Probably not. But I cover the squad. I stream the squad, so I just wanted to have some fun. So I ended up taking CJ in the third round. I actually took Tank in the fourth. And this was the roasting I got from my fantasy league. This is how classless they are. So I took Bijan Robinson. Then I took DJ Moore. I took CJ. I took Tank. And then you go down kind of an interesting situation. But this is the kind of criticism I got. And maybe I was a little bit throwed. Who knows? Look at this weasel right here in the Cowboys shirt. This is Overton.
Me taking CJ in the third round. Me taking CJ in the third round.
Like Stutz, I think you probably would have got him on the way back. I mean, that's a fact.
Okay. Thoughts on me taking CJ in the third round? Homer. Okay. Thoughts on me taking CJ?
He's a man of
a little early.
A little early. Okay. You?
Wouldn't mind it.
Thoughts on me taking CJ?
It's going to make great YouTube content. He's going to have a great season. You could have had him in the fourth or fifth.
No way.
Cover blown.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
QB8.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Thoughts on me taking CJ?
Makes my pick easier.
Thoughts on me taking CJ?
I saw your first two picks. I knew something shitty was coming up. So.
Okay. Legend. Thoughts on me taking CJ?
I don't hate it.
Okay. There we go. Haters gonna effing hate. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I took him. I really don't have a real problem with it. Really didn't have a real problem with it at all. Especially with 6 point touchdowns, F it. And I took Tank in the fourth. It happened. Sorry. Trying to enjoy the game, man. Trying to enjoy the game. Bruce Hall's going first round. I think this is a good question by Primetime. This ain't really like Texans content because I like to localize. Dude, I don't feel comfortable. I'm looking at all these fantasy issues, and I had like my and I wanted the Texans to take Breece Hall instead of Jalen Petrie, full disclosure. So I like Breece Hall a lot, and God dang, he kicked the hell out of Texas, who I follow all the time. But I am not comfortable taking Breece Hall in the first or second round like that early. I'm just not really there. I'm not really there. I might not be throwed enough. You might be right. I always do my fantasy a week before. Well, mine's in person, bro. Like, you're not doing it in person, are you? Because we're doing it in person. Like, this is the 15th year of it. So if you can get we're down to 12. We went up to 14 for a couple years, but like if you're doing an in-person draft, I mean, especially when you start having people who have kids and stuff, you gotta figure out like when people can go, man. Thought I would take Bryce Young. Dude, I would have taken Bryce Young in the draft last year, but nah, I ain't taking him now. I took Caleb and I took Matthew Stafford, so I took 3 quarterbacks. Which in like a 6 TD league ain't the craziest thing, but nah, I would take Bryce. Like, come on. Would you boo JJ Watt after you didn't? Come on. Or after you did and he balled out? Come on. I didn't get over that. I don't shy from it though. Do you think Fisher can take Titus spot sooner than later? I kind of do. I'll be honest with you. I like Blake Fisher a lot. We saw him the other day at practice. He was according to Cody Stutes, he was starting at right tackle, and we've seen him start at left tackle with Tunsil. I don't like Titus Howard as much as everyone else, and I think that Blake Fisher is going to be a starting tackle at the longest amount of time 2 years, in the shortest amount of time 1 year, and we might get in a situation where, I mean, one of these guys is going to be out, and he's going to go in there, and we'll see how he plays. But yeah, I think Blake Fisher, that pick, if you go back, like talking about like being wrong, I wasn't thrilled about that, but they look really, really smart with that. I think he's going to end up being good. I think he's going to end up being like a very, very good salary cap / on-field move for Nick Caserio, especially when CJ's rookie move comes through. Popping open another that's when you go light before you got to do your thing. Andrew says, I actually think you could probably get a 4th for Metchie. I think you are actually wrong. Dude was so damn good in college. Honestly, still waiting for him to show up. He was the second best receiver on his team. He was good. The middle of the field was open. I mean, you were scared of the run. You were scared of the quarterback. You were scared of the deep threat. I don't think Metchie's that good. Like, you're talking about college. As far as actually seeing him in practice and stuff, he's okay. He's not. It doesn't, like, there's a lot of guys who were good in college that just don't end up being good in the NFL. That's why the bust rate is so high. So I like John Metchie, the guy. I don't think he validates a 4th round pick. Sorry. I saw Metchie to Philly rumors. Cool. What the hell did the Eagles need with John Metchie? What are they just gonna stick him in the slot? Like, who are they? What they got they got AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith, they got Goddard. Like, what do they need with John Metchie? Don't really understand that. I mean, I keep hearing that. Is it like a JPA football or like Dove Kleeman type of thing? Don't really see that. I do think the Metchie Pierce watch is the main story of August, though. I mean, those two guys, their arrow's pointing down. They've had bad camps. Pierce has looked the part and Pierce has talked the part, but as far as playing it, like, Cam Akers has performed better than him in games, and I won't say in practice because he hasn't really gotten as much opportunity, but it's not like Dameon Pierce has just stuck out. So I would say that that's why his arrow is pointing down. Metchie's just been completely outplayed by a number of receivers, an overwhelming number of receivers. A lot of people talking about Metchie being out of there. I get it, for sure. But I don't know where this 4th round pick's coming from. That seems a little bit weird. Let's hear from Tank, though. How about that? Let's hear from the man. Look at this dude. It's up my 4th round pick in fantasy. I don't feel good about that. I'll be honest. Like, my confession, I don't feel good about it. I feel like I just kind of doubled up with CJ. I don't feel good about it. Some people say he might be the #1 receiver. Maybe I look smart, but it was after Diggs. It was after Nico. I went with Tank. We'll see what goes down.
Talked to you after the game the other night, but how good did it feel just to be able to get back in the end zone?
Blessings, man. I feel great. It felt great, you know. All the glory go to God, but it felt great, man. Long 250 days for sure.
You're not going to be denied on that?
Nah, I said that the night it happened, man. Nah, once I saw the goal line, I was like, I got to get across there. I don't know how, but I got to. So good.
Determination standpoint, a lot went into making that touchdown, a lot of work. Did you kind of think about it after some game, like, you know, I had to do a lot to get back to this point?
I harp off like hard work, so I wasn't really thinking about it a lot. You know, I know the touchdown where I belong. That's how I feel. You know, I like to get used to it. You know, I don't like to miss it, so I like to get used to scoring touchdowns. So when I got in there, man, it just felt good.
Stephon was one of the first people to come up and congratulate you. How did it feel that just to have that bond, that camaraderie with him?
It felt great, man, because if it was vice versa and he scored his first one out here, you know, I'd have ran up, tried to be the first one there, celebrate with him. So, you know, it's all love. He like a big brother to me. You know, he been leading the way here, so it feel good.
It was something that you did have to kind of battle through. At what point did you get confident? You know, like feel confident as far as feeling physically enough so, you know, when you're out there on the field that everything's gonna be all right as far as cutting and just
during the game or like overall? When did I feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Like my brother right there, he was with me. I wasn't even clear yet, and I was like kind of like going on my own, doing cutting drills on my own. So like it kind of sped the process up for me. So I'd say around like when me and CJ didn't went to LA, it was like a while back. I forget what month it was, but I started getting confident again in myself because we was running routes full speed, and I felt like I was coming out fast in my groove, so I felt good.
Set up that touchdown drive with that punt return. Migos talked about when you get the ball in your hands, people need to stand up because you're explosive.
Yeah.
How much do you expect to have that special teams aspect be part of your game?
Whenever the coaches tell me get back there, you know, I'm willing to do whatever to help the team. So whenever they tell me they need me back there to try to spark some things up, you know, I'm ready.
I know you and CJ had a great connection last year. Has that grown? What's the basis of that? Just it seems so natural to see.
I just feel like, you know, just our connection off the field, it just leads on to what we do on the field. And he's a playmaker, I'm a playmaker. So when we out there, we're going to figure it out and get it done. And like y'all see, like he built connections with not only me, but like all the receivers, like him and Steph got a good connection. Nico, of course, got a good connection. So we know we coming along. I feel like when all of us get going, it's going to be great. So.
Do you feel like you have the edge right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. That don't lose me. It don't leave me at all. Like my confidence don't waver. I feel like when I'm out there at any moment, I can make a play, and that's the confidence you got to have in yourself to go out there and make the play. So I feel good.
Plus.
Thank you.
Plus. There you go. All right, get your ass off the podium, man. You earned every ounce of that, my man. Shout out to Tank Dell. Shout out to the Texans, dude. He's ready, man. I actually feel better about that 4th round pick than I did before that. It's crazy though. I don't know if y'all have had y'all's fantasy drafts, and I assume like we were 235 deep when Tank started. I assume that a lot of y'all play fantasy football. I assume a lot of y'all like would like to have some Texans on your squad. I don't know what to do when it comes to the wide receivers. The quarterback I obviously reached because I'm a big fan of just like entertainment value, and I just think it would be cool to have CJ in the mix. But man, the wide receiver separating the Texans, that's hard. The running back and tight end's difficult too. I mean, I think they all get drafted. So I think you're going to have 3 wide receivers from the Texans in your drafts. 3 wide receivers, obviously the starting quarterback. You're going to have the tight end, and you're going to have the running back. But there's a lot of dilemmas. And we don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be fun for sure. And I mean, you obviously want to have some Texans on your squad if you're following or covering. So I think it'll be cool, like watching CJ and whatnot from like the perspective of him being the QB. So I'm all about that. I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, J Rob says, I'm happy you're willing to admit that you're wrong about the Blake Fisher pick. At the time, I couldn't understand why you were against it. I mean, I was against it because I looked at what they invested at tackle. I don't know how you can't understand that. Like it's. I mean, I looked at the fact that they made Titus Howard one of the top 5 highest paid right tackles in the league, and I was against that from the beginning. So I was not a fan, and I don't. We're kind of moving all over the place, but that's why this is so interactive. But I was against the Titus Howard extension from the beginning. I never thought that he was one of the best right tackles in the league. I thought it was weird that they made him one of the highest paid tackles in the league. I thought it was weird that the salary that the contract was laid out to where it was like a 1 or 2 year type of weird deal. And then you have Laramie Tunsil, who was at the time I think the first or second highest paid left tackle in the league. So you draft a tackle there. So that was the initial reaction to that. I don't think that's crazy because at the very least it looked like you had Titus Howard on a 2-year plan. Now, I have no problem with making an initial mistake and then immediately admitting that you were wrong and proactively trying to correct your F up. I have no problem with it. So I actually looked at it post draft pick, and I think they realized that Titus Howard is not one of the 5 best tackles in the league. I think they realized that Laramie Tunsil is not going to be here long term, so that was the pick. So if you looked at that and thought that that was initially an awesome pick when they took a tackle, congratulations to you. I would throw the challenge flag on that and say that either that's not true or you just support every draft pick that they make. But yeah, I have no problem admitting I was wrong there, but that was my thing. Tommy Townsend's leg is ridiculous from Johnny. Shout out to Johnny, man. Love you, brother. Tommy Townsend's leg is ridiculous, by the way. He flipped the field almost 70 yards last game. Then told the returner catch the ball. Yeah, Townsend's punts are way different than Johnston's. And I actually asked him about it and he kind of broke it down really good. Talked about like the in over end and stuff. His punts are weird because a lot of times when they look short, the hang time is so much that the guy's going to have to make a fair catch. The one that I point to, I think it was his second punt of the game. He had a 56-yarder, and it was a fair catch. So like it was in the air, and it was the same as the net. He's kind of insane with the hang time. But yeah, he's booming. You don't miss Cam Johnston. I mean, you kind of do because Cam was cool, but he's not. I really want to see what the coffin corner game's like too, so that'll be interesting. Will you be going to the Texans and Dallas game? I'm considering. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I've decided I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a Monday night, so I'll go Monday night. So we'll do a little road work, figure out where I'll stay. But yeah, gotta go. Are we going? Got the baby. She's crazy. She's been nuts. She's drunk. She's drunk. She just ate a whole orange. And now she's eating something else. What are we doing? What we got? Tell the people, hey, say hello. You're like looking at yourself. Yeah, she's definitely drunk. What? What's wrong with that? She's drunk. You can't get drunk off oranges? My wife thinks that y'all are actually going to think that she's drunk. I'm just talking about off her orange. She ate a whole orange. Any championships, Landry, in the fantasy? Yeah, I won. A lot of people question it. Should have won another one, but it was. Well, we won't talk about that. Good luck trying to cover the wide receiver. Then you've got CJ looking like the best. Yeah. The wide receiver is going to be crazy. Texans Cap says dedication here. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Texans Cap, man. Shout out to Texans Cap. He's been kind of mean to me lately, but I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you, Cap. You've been kind of mean to me. a little bit. That's my dog, though. Shout out to Texans Cap. If Tank outperforms Nico and Diggs this season, what will it mean for the Texans? That's a good question. Let me think about this. It might not be a good question, but it makes me think. So I guess that's a good question. So if Tank outperforms Nico and Diggs, what does it mean for the Texans? I think it'll mean that you feel better if you potentially let Diggs go. Might also, in a crazy way, mean that Diggs comes back because it's not like he balled out. For Nico, it doesn't mean anything because Nico's under contract. So I think it would maybe impact the Diggs thing from the organization's POV and from his POV. And I don't think he's going to be looking for a good deal. But I appreciate that question, Dizzy. That's really good. I was glad about the pick. Our star OTs got mud for knees. Titus is not a star, man. Like I don't like I like Titus, but he's not a star tackle. He's treated like one, but he's not one. He hasn't done anything to establish himself as a star tackle. It's a new mantra. When you get to QB, you bring in whoever you need to keep them upright. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I want to go too. Might have to use a sick day that Monday. You mean that Tuesday? Because it's Monday Night Football. So it's going to be blatantly obvious if you end up doing that. For sure. It's going to be a sticky situation. Shout out to Patty B. Always loyal, always here, whether it's a home game or a road game. G Hall, did Johnson just get caught up in a game or something when he hit Tank late? Or did him and Tank not really have a good relationship last year? Yeah, I think so. What is my fantasy team name? Man, I had like some crazy fantasy team names sometimes. One time it was with Mahomes, it was No Mahomo. I think I can say that, No Mahomo. It's the bounce back. I was trash last year. So DA bounce back this year. Don't have anything crazy. It's just bounce back season. Like all focus, all that. The best one I have was Mahomes, No Mahomo. I'm predicting the city of Houston starts turning on Dalton Schultz this year. Why? Why? Well, we're not relying on him. What do you think he's going to drop passes or what? I mean, he's a good dude, man. Like, what are we turning on Dalton Schultz for? I do think like the city of Dallas did, and a lot of it had to do with that San Francisco game 2 years ago where he had the terrible out of bounds and he had the drop or whatever. But I mean, what are we turning on Dalton Schultz for? You think he's gonna have costly drops? I could definitely see that. Diggs won't be back. Who cares? I mean, we got to enjoy this year. Who's your RB2 today? I mean, if we're talking performance, it's Akers, and I don't even think it's close. I think it's Akers all day. All day. Who's the one player we lost this offseason that you would have tried hard to keep? Damn, that's a really, really good question. I think they like Shire more than Cashman, so I won't say that. I don't think they like Grenard because I don't think that he was disciplined. I think Townsend's as good as Johnston. Yeah, I really don't know. I kind of feel like they had a good offseason. Like I don't feel like anyone really got away. If I'm thinking about it. I don't think there's like one that got away. I could end up looking stupid. But I don't feel like I look at it and say this is the one that got away. So I don't have like any specific. Can I bring Singletary back as Mixon's backup? Does that count? That might be too expensive. Because I didn't think Singletary was going to get a starting running back opportunity. I didn't think that Dable was like going to come back on his knees. If he can get on his knees, I don't know. His fat ass is probably going to work towards that. Although he lost weight, right? Blah, 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 blah. I think my daughter just made fun of me and said, "Okay, blah blah blah." Is that funny? I think she just told me to shut up and quit calling someone a fat ass. Which, my bad. My bad. She definitely told me that. Shut up. Shout out to Mr. High. Man, when your daughter starts telling you to shut up and quit calling people fat asses, you really gotta evaluate your life. Like I'm like if y'all are looking at me right now, like I legit just got called out. That was not yeah, Singletary, I guess, but would you rather have Singletary than Mixon would be the question. Perriman? No, hell no. Perriman? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Do you think Cade Stover can produce and be a top 10 tight end by next year? No, I don't. I don't think he's ever going to be a top 10 producing receiving tight end. I do not believe that. I think he's good. I think he's going to be a good tight end, but I don't think they're ever going to I don't think he's explosive. I think he's physical. If his blocking gets good, then he's very valuable. And him and CJ have chemistry and he can figure stuff out. But no, I don't think that. Damn, why are we talking about Henry To'oTo'o? What's wrong with that? Let's not give up on Pierce just yet. I mean, I'm not giving up on him, but I don't think he's RB2 yet. Nelson's a good one. Nelson's actually a really good one. I don't know how much Nelson had left though. Like if you told me, if you told me, and y'all know how football is. If you told me I could get what Nelson was last year, this year, then I would take that. But I feel like there was a gradual process of Nelson leaving it all on the field and then slowly exposing himself as being washed last year. Should I get Steve Nelson on the podcast? You think he'd do it? I know he's a effing drunk and he's like retired and I've heard him talk crap about me before through the grapevine because of the stuff that I would say about him. But I almost feel like it would be good because I don't think his podcast has as many followers as mine at all. And it's trash. It's terrible. There's no information and he's smacking gum in it and he's drunk and he's like got this guy who's like jocking him and treating him like he's Deion Sanders. It's one of the worst podcasts I've ever heard in my life. What's it called? Pod Juice or something? Man, you can't even look it up. You can't even type in Steven Nelson and see it there. Almost feel like I should get Steven Nelson on just to talk some smack about it. George Fant's a good one. I think George Fant's a real good one. George Fant was a really, really good swing tackle. Although I think Blake Fisher's good, but if you had both of those guys, I feel like you would feel good. Fant's a really, really good one. Shout out to D Monty for that. Nah, Mill, it wouldn't be tough, man. Like I've talked to people in my career. I'm not some like slime ball. I've been in the game for a while. Like where if you call someone washed, you just talk to them and like explain yourself. It's not like that big of a deal. It's not like a jock sniffing or anything like that. I'll ask Steven Nelson. I'll ask him if he wants to come through and just like BS a little bit. He might be crazy enough to do it. And I'm not like shying away from it because I've always said that they don't get where they got last year without Steven Nelson. Like no one with eyes would deny that. but there was a lot of extra BS, and he kind of screwed himself over. So I'll ask him, and he might do it. He might be crazy enough to do it. It's just how nuts Steven Nelson is, and he played his ass off. And I thought it was impressive that he was like on side fields last year when he didn't need to play, doing his things. But yeah, he'd come on here, do his thing. Yeah, ain't no like I don't even know why he started a podcast. Like he thought, like, who cares about what Steven Nelson has to say? And he's not insightful. Like it's not. I'm not one of those people. Like I think it's weird. The dorkiest dude that I've ever seen in radio. One time he was like sitting there and he was like across from me. I think I was a producer at the time. It was like when I first started, and he's sitting there and he's like, he's talking about Chris Sims, and he's like, "What does Chris Sims know about quarterbacks? He did this, 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 this." And he laid out his stats, and I was like, during the break, and this was me, like, and this was like a fill-in dude. I was like, "Buddy, how are you going to minimize what he says about quarterbacks when you don't even play? Like, it doesn't matter." Like, I think it's weird. I think it's weird when people who played act like it's the gospel, and I think it's weird. Like, it's even weirder when he does that, like as like a broadcaster. So I've always thought that was weird. So I think there's kind of a balance of it. But the reason I make fun of Steven Nelson is because I think he sucks on the air, and I think that he's kind of overestimates himself as a player. But I think he might be able to thrive in a situation with me where we're kind of bouncing back and forth. So I would easily talk to Steven Nelson on here when he's not like gargling whiskey, and dude, he was chewing gum into the mic too. Like this dude was like chewing gum and like talking on a podcast, and it's like, brother, like what are you doing, my friend? Kind of crazy. So we'll see what's popping on that. The stream's a little bit different, but he was doing like podcast stream vibes weird. It's a little bit different. Just a tiny. So tomorrow at practice, Stutes is gonna have y'all covered at Cody_Stutes, 9 a.m. I got my video dropping at 1. I'm dropping videos at 1 now. I've learned that like the early morning doesn't work as good. Throughout the year, I'll do live streams in the ones on top of the videos dropping, but that's what I'm doing. Leave Steven Nelson alone. I'm not talking crap. I'm just saying, man, like it's your podcast, brother. I'm trying to get him on. We can talk, man. We'll see what's up. And see what's going on. Mr. N15G Rex, the guy who his drink of choice, man. I'll always remember that picture. He drinks Mickey's, man. That's kind of nuts. My man drinks Mickey's. He ain't messing around. Do they carry Mickey's at every gas station, or do you have to like go from one gas station to the next? Do you honestly feel like our secondary is good enough to get us back in the playoffs? At least I have my doubts. Here's my thing about the secondary. I feel like I think the starting edges are better than the starting receivers, and I think the starting receivers are top 5 in the league. So I think between Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, I think you have such good edges that I think that naturally makes the secondary better, and I think that that can get us back in the playoffs. Like I don't even think you have to have good, great secondary to get in the playoffs. I think you can have question marks and get in. So I don't feel that. When will Metchie get cut? He's our 9th best receiver on the roster. Someone that follows it very well said 8th. And I also heard, man, this is where I get to the end of the stream, and I've been drinking and stuff, and I say too much, but it happens. I feel like he's also got like a prima donna attitude, where I don't think that he embraces the potential of playing special teams as much as someone of his caliber should. I feel like John Metchie thinks he's while Xavier Hutchinson, um, Robert Woods, even Steven Sims, and all these guys, Skoranek, are seeing what's up on special teams. I feel like Metchie thinks he just takes his helmet off and he hangs out with Nico and Tank just because they hang out in the off season. And I kind of feel like that kind of hurts him too. I think that's kind of a problem. And when I say I think, a lot of times it's like this guy's an idiot and he's just saying stuff because he's a moron and he thinks it. I'm not a moron. It's pretty educated opinions. A lot of times it's like very educated opinions. So I would say that does not help him too much. The John Metchie type of thing. As it stands right now, are you keeping Woods or Metchie? If Woods is ready to go, I'm keeping. I mean, is that even close? He's a way better receiver and he plays special teams. Like, are they having a conversation? Like, I would rather you ask me about Skoranek or Hutchinson or something like that. Like, I don't like what Robert Woods right now with how old he is and how long he's been in the league. He's 100 times better than John Metchie. It's really not even close. And he has intangibles too. He might not have like the crazy story, but yeah, it's not even close. Like even at all close. At all. Metchie was supposed to be our Dell before Dell. Was he? I mean, he had a torn ACL. Like even about it that everybody like talks about. It's like, well, his rookie year got thrown off because he had the leukemia. Yes, he did, and I'm not questioning that, but dude, he had a torn ACL too. Like before they knew about that, so it was kind of a redshirt year there too. So, and I'm not like the torn ACL. That's nothing. I mean, you can figure it out, but I mean, I just kind of feel bad for y'all because if you're not just going to me and you're not just going to Stutes, then I feel like there was a really, really, really weird presentation from a lot of local media, some radio folks, where they were acting like John Metchie was looking incredible. That never was the case. It really never was the case, and I almost feel bad for him there because now all of a sudden he's finding himself in the situation and people are like treating him like he did something terrible the last week or two. And it's like that's the danger of not trying to maintain your credibility and not trying to cover the team the way you should cover the team. Where if you're actually listening to people who are actually watching it and taking it serious and stuff like that, then you would have known. Like if you were here or if you were on Houston Football with Stutes or listening to Stutes, then you would have known. And even if you were listening to Texans All Access with Harris and Vandermeer, like they never said that he looked incredible. I mean, that you can read between the lines with them. Like you hear Vandermeer hype up Johnny Johnson. Like I know Vandy. Like I love Vandy. I would never put Vandy in a weird spot. When he's saying that, dude, I look at it like as, okay, well, this dude's sticking out more than John Metchie. But you got like people sitting here and like putting out highlight videos. John Metchie's cooking. He's not cooking anything, man. He's cooking ramen noodles. He ain't cooking no like 5-star meal. He's cooking ramen noodles. Oh, because he burned Kalen Bullock. Hey, it's a safety. Come on, man. Like it was very dishonest. And I hope y'all figure that out. Like whenever you look at like me and Stutes and you like I just want y'all to take in like everything that y'all have seen and everything that y'all have heard. And I want y'all to see like as it plays out where this goes. This isn't like an infomercial. This is honest. Y'all know how I am on this. But I just don't think it was honest the way that Metchie was covered. I think it was weird. I think it was like based on one-on-ones, and I think it was weird. And I don't have anything against John Metchie. I think John Metchie can be a fine player. But to act like he was just thriving and like he was killing it, he wasn't killing it any more than anyone that was in that mix. So, yeah, that's all I got. Appreciate everyone for coming through. 230 deep at 11 p.m. on the road is magical. I don't take that for granted. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all for rolling with me. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get the practice update from Stutes, and we'll see what's going down. And it's gonna be fun. It's really, really gonna be fun. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, be sure to subscribe, like, right along. But when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all.